Hi, this is Pragati and today's video is all about actuarial sciences. For the people who don't know what actuarial science is, it's about calculating and analyzing the financial implications of some uncertain future event. For example, in the case of insurance companies and in the case of financial companies, using statistics and mathematics. We have with us today Chitranshi Singh. She's a pricing actuarial analyst at one of the leading global insurance with about 5 years of work experience. She's a student actuary from the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries with 10 exams. In this video, we'll be talking about job role and job opportunities in actuarial sciences, which exams to target first to get a job, how to prepare for other exams while working simultaneously, and other relevant topics. If in case you love numbers and you are looking forward to a career in risk assessment after 12th, this video is for you. So, Chitranshi, I was just wondering that so this actuarial sciences is pretty new in India, and not a lot of people know what actuaries do. So, can we begin the discussion with what is the job role of an actuary?
Okay, so wherever risk is involved, actually, the requirement of actuary comes into picture. In India, as you know, that insurance is one domain where actuarial people work on. So in insurance as well, there are various domains in which an actuary's work comes into play. So, for example, you own a four-wheeler, and then by law you have to have an insurance policy along with you. So that is a third-party policy that is mandated by law. So along with that, you will have certain add-on coverages or the other coverages that you will have to take along with your particular policy. So how does that premium of that particular policy is arrived at that you see on the policy? So the work of an actuary deals with the mathematics and the technical aspects, whatever are there to arrive at that particular premium. So premium calculation is one of the aspect of pricing that an actuary deals with. Apart from that, if you look at the claims from claims perspective, once you have taken an insurance policy, there would be claims that would be that the insurance company is liable to pay. So, for example, you take a claim on a car policy that you own. So for that, there are certain amount of reserves that are to be built by the insurance company. So actuaries also deal with, like, they give an estimate of the reserves that are to be kept by the insurer, so that they are liable, so that they have the liability, so that they can meet their liabilities in future. So that is another aspect that an actuary deals with. Apart from that, there is data analysis that an actuary do. So once the product is launched into the market, how the product is behaving, what are the losses that are being incurred, what are the loss ratios. So all that calculation and analysis, if there has to be any rate revisions in that. So that is also what an actuary deals with. So apart from this, there is another aspect which is the reporting perspective. So once a financial year ends, there is a certain requirement from the regulatory authority to submit your reports. So there is a report called as an FCR report, which is developed by the actuaries, and then the appointed actuary of a particular company has to sign on it, and then that report gets published and sent to the IRDA. So that is another aspect of the actuarial work. Uh, in India, there is life insurance, general insurance, and pension or the employee benefits that an actuary also deals with. So these are the various sectors in which an actuary can get involved currently.
So you're saying it's mostly about forecasting.
Forecasting, predictive analysis, or wherever there is risk involved. So to minimize the risk, actuaries comes into play.
Okay. So you were pursuing economics for your graduation. So how did you get the idea of doing actuarial sciences?
So very frankly, I was a science student till 11th, 12th who was preparing for IIT JEE. And then while I was filling out the university applications, I sort of realized that engineering is something that I can't relate to. So I went to a career counselor to explore more options I can pursue in future. So economics was one aspect that one career option that I was advised. Along with that, when I was filling out so I had to give an aptitude test in the career counseling session as well. So the counselor also told me about actuarial sciences. He showed me a video of people who work in the actuarial domain, and if I would be interested in something like doing something of this sort. And I think at that point of time, I realized that this is something that I could relate to, and in future I can work in such an industry. So that is why I decided that once I'll start off with my economics career, and then I'll decide upon if I want to pursue actuarial sciences or not. So in my second year of graduation, once I was able to sort of, I got comforted with the economics that I took up because I didn't have it in my 11th and 12th. So in my second year, I started with actuarial sciences. For my initial exams, I took coaching as well. So in the coaching institute, I realized how different how different scenarios work in actuarial sciences and with societies, the number of societies there are which you can take up and you give the exams. So from that, I got a fair idea about how my career path would be once I give the exams. So starting with that, I at that point of time also I wasn't sure if I'll be able to handle the pressure of the college and the exams together. But because in universe in while doing the economics honors, I think most of the exams that I had were sort of similar to what I was studying for actuarials as well. For example, in our third semester, we had econometrics, and most of the application of econometrics was also in my particular examination, which was CT3. So all the probability distributions and hypothesis testings, all was there in my actuarial examinations as well. So at that point of time, I realized that these both are sort of correlated, and I can pursue that. So along with that, in my third exam, the third exam that I gave was CT7, which was again a business economics exam. So that was also related to whatever I was studying in my economics. So that is how I realized like how my economics is helping me out in my actual preparations as well, and I was interested in giving more and more exams.
Okay. So how many exams did you clear before you passed your graduation, Chitranshi?
So in my graduation, I cleared three examinations. And then after getting on to my job, I had around 4 or 5 exams in my plate.
Okay. So like in how many exams can you give at one point of time? Is there a limit
At
on
one,
that?
so you can give around 3 exams in a particular diet. So, also there are 2 exams that happen in a particular year. So one happens in April and one happens in September. So this is with respect to the this is with respect to the London Society, which is IFoA, Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, UK. So they have 2 exams at 2 diets that you can give the exam, and then you can give 3 exams in each attempt. But that ultimately depends upon how much time do you have in place and how do you organize yourself. Adding on to that, the Indian Society, they have recently introduced another attempt in July. So earlier they also used to have only 2 diets in a particular year, but recently they have introduced another one. So there would be 3 chances in a particular year for the Indian Society.
Okay, so you are affiliated to the London Society.
So I was affiliated to the London Society before, and before this December 22, there was a tie-up between the Indian Society and the UK Society, wherein if you clear any exam from India, you can apply for an exemption from UK as well. But
Okay.
this agreement has been discarded recently, and now the new policy says that if only you have qualified all the examinations from India, then only you can apply for the final fellowship from the IFoA. So I'm a member of both the societies, but I have decided on to pursue from IFoA UK.
So what's the difference, Chitranshi? Like how did you choose to pursue it from the London Society versus the Indian Society?
So there were various factors. Like initially, I was told that in the if you want to practice as an actuary, the qualified actuary in like not in India but abroad, then you must have something. You must have been affiliated with an organization which has its tie-up with multiple nations as well. So Indian society also has recently has increased its tie-ups with other organizations. But to practice as an actuary, I was focusing more on clearing it from UK so that I'm affiliated to the UK society. But currently, as I mentioned before, if you clear all the examinations from India as well, then you can apply for a fellowship abroad. Also, depending upon the status of the exams that are there in the Indian society and the UK society, Indian examinations, there was a low passing percentages for the Indian exams before. And in UK examinations, for example, out of the 100 people who are giving the examinations, the passing rate was around 50 to 55%, whereas it was around 30 to 40% in the Indian societies. So it was a bit easier to clear the exams in the UK society. So that was another reason that I tried to.
What is the total
From
number of exams?
so there were around 15 exams before, but if you start from now on, if you become a member now, there are around 13 exams that you have to pass to become a
13.
qualified actuary. 13. So so once you clear level 1 and level 2, you become an associate actuary. So so if you have cleared the second level as well, then you from the third level you have to select for 2 exams and another 1 exam from the final level of the examinations. So once you have cleared all the 13 examinations, you become a qualified actuary. You are eligible to be an appointed actuary of a company. You will have the signatory authority. So that is all there when you achieve a fellowship of this examination. So you become a fellow member of the Actuarial Society.
So, like, what kind of exams are there? What are all these 13 exams all about? Is it about mathematics, statistics, economics? Can we discuss that a bit? The structure of the exams?
Yeah. So level 1 of the exams from the current structure that IFoA has in place, there are around 7 examinations. So the first exam deals with the mathematics part of it, CM1 and CM2, which deal with a lot of mathematics involved in insurance, interest rates, what are the, like in life insurance, what are the probabilities of the final fund that an individual will receive once he has taken a life insurance policy. So those sort of questions are there in the first level of the examination, which is CM, which is the mathematics exam. Then there are CS exams as well, which are the statistical based exams. Like I was mentioning before, there are statistical distributions which are applied. Then along with that, there are probabilities and the risk models that are involved in the various sectors that come into picture. So that is another part. Then there are business exams as well. So business economics and financial modeling. So those sort of exams which deals with the financial markets. Then the macroeconomics aspect, we look at the inflation. Then so a lot of macroeconomics part as well. And then there is another exam which was CT2 earlier, which deals with the balance sheets, the accounts part of it, like how like the general commerce background, like it is an exam related to the commerce field. So how the financial and accounts of an insurance company deals with. So that is another aspect which deals with it. This was about the first level of the examination. So once you clear all these examinations, the first level is cleared, which is the court level. So then you move on to the core practice level. So there are 3 examinations in it: CP1, 2, and 3. So those basically deals with how can you document a particular case scenario that you get. So, for example, there are various case studies that comes into picture, and how are you able to tackle those questions? And there are various Excel problems that you are given. Then how do you interpret that in a Word document, and then you have to present it to the actuaries and how they'll interpret it. So those are the practice papers in the second level. After that, we move on to the advanced level, which are the specializations exams. So if you are part, if by that time you have decided that you want to be a part of life insurance or general insurance, you can choose your examinations basis your interest area. So if you are an individual of life insurance, you can give SP1 or SP2, which is related to the life insurance aspect of it. If you are a part of general insurance, then you can give ST7, ST8 examination. Sorry, that was ST1 and ST2 before. So
Okay.
these are the examinations that are there. Then there is a final examination. So once you clear that final examination, you become a fellow member.
So, is there a defined order in which you have to give these exams?
No, so there is no defined order in which you give the exams, but I would suggest that I had given the initial exam just to get an idea about how this industry works and how things are working. So I gave the mathematics exam first, and then moved on to stats, and then one exam of business aspect. So I sort of had an idea about where the direction is going of the examinations and the level of examinations that I have to give. And then once you decide onto that, as I mentioned before, if you want to pursue general insurance, then you give the exams which are related to the general insurance and then life insurance as well. Uh, also, people mostly prefer to clear all the starting examinations first, the level one. So, but there is no restriction that you can't give a level two examination before clearing a level one examination. So that is
So
there.
if
There's no
somebody is
restriction.
looking for a job right after graduation, which exams do you suggest that person should target first?
I think before targeting on a job, one thing should be clear, like in which roles the person has to get in, if it is a general insurance role or a life insurance role. So if you want to go in a life insurance role, then there is an exam which was CET5 before, which is now a part of CM1 examination. So that deals with the life insurance aspect of it. So I would recommend if you want to go for a life insurance company. So most of the companies also they give a special, like when giving a job profile, job description in the JDs as well, they mention which examinations they want the candidate to already have passed those examinations to be eligible to apply for that job. So apart from the basic core mathematics examinations for life insurance, you can give CM1, CM1, which is related directly to it. If you want to go into financial markets, then CT8 is the examination you should clear and go about applying for the jobs. So, with respect to the exams that you have and the career paths that you see for yourself, you should aim for the examination.
Okay. So what are the average cutoffs for these exams?
So, the passing levels, as I mentioned before, passing level is the criteria that, like, ultimately you have cleared the examination or not. So that is one aspect that everyone looks at once you apply, once you sit for a particular diet in an examination. But the number of marks also depends upon the kind of exam question paper that is there in that particular diet. So, for example, the exam that I gave last time, the cutoff was generally 55 to 60 marks for the past 4 or 5 years, but they increased that cutoff to 63 marks this time. So all those people who had scored even 61 or 62 marks wouldn't have cleared the examination. So that depends upon the level of the question paper that the society sets in as well. So, but generally, the passing percentages is such that these people want that at least 50% people pass the examination from the UK society. 50 to 55% is the general passing rate for the examination. So it also depends upon the kind of exam that you are sitting for. So for the final exams, the passing rate also decreases. So from level to level and exam to exam, the passing rates and the average cutoffs differs.
Okay. So you cleared 3 exams before your first job and 7 exams you cleared while working, right? So how did you
Yeah.
manage studying for these 7 exams while you were working?
So when you work in an organization where people are doing actuarial sciences, there is a special program that is there, which is the actuarial study policy or the actuarial support programs which are there. So these exams basically, so these policies generally help you to give you extra leaves to study. So depending upon which exam you are giving, you get a certain number of leaves which you can take to study. So, for example, for a particular exam, you can get 8 to 10 leaves or 15 to 20 leaves as well for a particular exam, depending upon the level of difficulty of the examination. So, you get an ample number of leaves for that. Along with that, when you are in an environment, because everyone is giving the examinations, so your ultimately your managers also want you to clear the examinations, and you have to get restricted to a certain discipline. And either you can study every day and make a timetable for yourself, like after my working hours, this is the number of times and this is the syllabus that I can work, that I should aim to complete before the examinations. Either you can do that, either you can study on the weekends as well. So there are also study groups in which people discuss like which books they are solving, so that you can collectively solve those questions. And if you have any doubts, then you can reach out to those people and connect with those people. Also, if you are taking coaching, so if you're working, you can't take coaching on weekdays, I suppose. So on weekends, you can take coaching, and on weekdays, you can study. So in that way, you need to organize before the exam. So generally, exams happen in April and September. So after April, there is a very minimum time, like you once you have the exam, then you want some time to rest as well, and then prepare for another examination. So you need to restrict yourself and get accustomed to a timetable that you should follow for the examination, which exam to give. You should have a you should have a timeline in your head, like by what year you see yourself becoming an actuary, and what should be your examination path for that. Like in this particular attempt, I'll clear these many examinations. So that sort of thing should be there in your head before you start onto the career as well.
Okay, so for the people who don't have a good placement cell in their college, how do they apply for their first job if they pursue actuarial sciences? How did you first get your first job?
So there are multiple ways in which you can apply for jobs. Firstly, you can directly go onto LinkedIn, search for people who are doing work in the actuarial space, and you can relate to them. You can just text them on LinkedIn. So most people that I have found out are very supportive on LinkedIn. They reply back, and then if they have any vacancies, they let you know. Another thing, there is the Indian Society have a job portal in place on their website. So on the website, you can go onto the job portal, you can look out for the opportunities. So these companies reach out to the societies, and then they sort of publish if they have any vacancies. So you can. So I had applied for multiple roles, and I had got calls as well. I had interview scheduled from various companies by seeing the openings on the portal as well. Apart from that, the various coaching centers, if you enroll yourself in a coaching, those people also have connections, and these people know various recruiters and the companies, and because you have a lot of connections of the people who have passed out from these coaching institutes and are working somewhere in various companies, so these people also reach out to you, and they let you know that there are these people are hiring for this particular job profile, this particular number of years of experience they are looking at, and then from there also you can get a hint of it, and then you can directly email the HR and get a call back from them.
I think with this, we come to the end of this video. And thank you, Chitranshi, for accepting my invitation.
Thanks, Pragati. I hope people get to know more about actuarial sciences and decide upon the career that they want.